Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's episode of Roundabout Sports, presented by Harsh Construction, LLC, and Interstate 70 Sports Media, where our passion is our profession. Now, Harsh Construction, LLC, with over 50 years combined experience in the field of construction, landscaping, home renovation. Be sure to call for a free quote today at 618-363-9818. That is 618-363-9818. Harsh Construction, LLC. With all that said, I'm the Maestro Jeremy Karp. It is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, and it is a bitter cold winter evening here. And a lot has definitely gone on over the past few days in the world of sports. And of course, my co-host for the evening, Adam Frecks, will be joining me shortly. But there is a couple things that have come up over the past, like I said, especially yesterday. And while I wait his arrival, I guess I should start off with arguably the biggest news. Now, before I start that, though, let me just go through the usual spiel of our show for those of you that haven't been here for the other 159 episodes. Roundabout Sports can be found on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Amazon Music, and any and all other streaming platforms. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, X, and the official Interstate 70 Sports Media YouTube channel. I don't know if you all knew this, but it takes just 1 second to hit the subscribe button on a YouTube channel. So this is the perfect chance for you to do just that. Head to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and we'll go from there. And of course, be sure to tune in at www.interstate70sports.media. That's www.interstate70sports.media for all the latest up-to-date news. So with all that said, I guess I'm going to just break the elephant in the room or break the ice and go for it. Yeah, Nolan Arenado's been traded. Wow, didn't see that one coming the way it happened. I'm not going to say I didn't see the trade happening at all, because that would be a bold-faced lie. But nevertheless, I did not expect him to go to the Arizona Diamondbacks. And also, folks, if you have any comments that you'd like to share about Nolan Arenado's trade or any other questions, be sure to just comment on the show here. I'll try to get to all of them as they come about. But yes, Nolan Arenado's officially been traded. The Arizona Diamondbacks agreed to a trade with the Cardinals yesterday. And in return, the Cardinals will receive 22-year-old right-hander Jack Martinez, who was an 8th round, number 243 overall, from the 2025 MLB draft out of Arizona State. Now, in return, also, one of the biggest things is the financial ramifications in all of this. Now, Nolan Arenado was owed $42 million. The Cardinals will eat $31 million of that up, while it's the Diamondbacks take on the rest of it. So yeah, there is a lot in that regard. Now, Chaim Bloom, the new Cardinals president of baseball operations, said in a statement that, quote, "We are grateful for Nolan's 5 years as a Cardinal on and off the field. For his drive, his competitiveness, and for all the memories he gave us. Arenado is arguably a future Hall of Famer. He's a 10-time Gold Glove winner and a career 282 hitter. And over 13 seasons with the Cardinals and the Rockies, he hit 353 home runs. Now, obviously, there's a lot to be excited about for the future of the Cardinals, because it is definitely a rebuild. There's a lot of youth working their way up here in the organization. But I think there's a really good silver lining to this. Once again, there's only so much that you could the Cardinals, Arenado had a no trade clause. He waived it for Arizona. Obviously, we know there's teams in the past he hasn't waived them for. So yeah, it goes without saying, the trade was bound to happen. Where, that's beside the point. So I really look at this as, yeah, it sucks in the sense that we had Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado for 5 years, 5 to 6 years, and we didn't win a single playoff game. But damn, I mean, at least we still get something in return for trading Arenado. And a trade, it seemed inevitable given what the Cardinals are going through right now. 3 consecutive seasons, they missed the postseason. And neither season was clearly built for a full-scale rebuild or playoff contention. Now, according to the situation, or I guess according to a lot of reports, the team does seem very inclined to give J.J. Weatherholt an opportunity to compete for the everyday opportunities at the MLB level. This trade, trading Arenado opens up that opportunity. And Arenado is 34 right now, heading on 35. It's 2 years remaining on an 8-year, $260 million contract he originally signed with Colorado before being traded to the Cardinals. In his Cardinals career, Arenado hit 118 home runs, 424 RBIs, and a 266 batting average, 3 All-Star selections, and even finished in the top 3 in the NL MVP finish back in 2022. But, of course, that was the year Paul Goldschmidt took home the honors. Now, another thing that Bloom said in all this, and this is something I really, take into account here, is he says, quote, "As we continue to move forward, we're pleased to add another intriguing pitching prospect to our organization and excited for the opportunity this move creates for a number of our players to step up and further establish themselves at the big league level." So let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that they don't start Weatherholt next year at third. I feel like they will, and I'll delve more into that later and over the coming weeks and everything. But I will say Nolan Gorman does seem to be one of those favorites that to be the new starting third baseman. And we'll see how it pays off there. I do think his versatility is really going to come into play. So, of course, there's a lot of young players on this team that they're really trying to work on and improve their skills at the plate and in the field. And, Gorman is one of them. Once again, though, the Cardinals trading Nolan Arenado to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, this opens up the next question as to the future of Brendan Donovan. Well, Donnie, now that the Diamondbacks made it clear they're not trading Marte, the Giants have been actively pursuing Brendan Donovan. Nothing's materialized yet, but, keep an eye out, because I will say last year at the trade deadline, as the trade deadline was on the horizon, I had made the statement that, and I still stand by it to an extent, that to me, J.J. Weatherholt is the only untradeable Cardinal. And then I added possibly Brendan Donovan as well, because once again, we go into the versatility and the leadership, and still the youth. He's only 28 years old. Damn, he's only 28. Oh, I'm so old. Oh, I'm so old. Okay. Nevertheless, that is, and we got a bit, and Callum Gilmore is tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. Yes, folks. Be sure to subscribe to the official YouTube channel for Interstate 70 Sports Media. Normally, it is not just me. We are still waiting the arrival of my co-host. And so I should be shortly because there is a lot to talk about this week, specifically on the front of the NFL standpoint. And speak of the devil himself, the one and only Adam Frecks has joined us, my amazing co-host. How's it going, Adam? Well, hopefully we have him. We have him on camera. There you are. I don't think we can hear you, buddy.
Internet shitty again.
Yeah, another rough day with the internet.
Okay, hold on just a second.
You're good. There. We're going to put Adam backstage for a second. So there's another story I wanted to talk about while Adam gets his stuff situated. And that is, and this is, it's not St. Louis sports or KC sports related, but it's very interesting because Mike Tomlin, the former head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, announced that yesterday that he was stepping down after 19 seasons as the head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And honestly, it caught me off guard. Now, okay, here's the thing. The Pittsburgh Steelers lost on Monday night to the Houston Texans 30-6, and it eliminated them from the playoffs yet again. So it was another one-and-done deal for Pittsburgh. Now, Mike Tomlin has lived off this reputation of never having a losing record in the regular season, but people need to understand he hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2009 against the Arizona Cardinals. And so you want to talk about peaking early, that might be where it was. And don't get me wrong, a great leader, Hall of Famer for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of things to take away from Mike Tomlin leaving. Adam, you with us? Well, he's muted now. You gotta unmute yourself. Okay, so we're gonna remove Adam again. Give me 1 second. Anyway, the point that I was trying to make is Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Famer, but at the same time, it seemed like it became a recurring meme of, hey, we're just going to finish with a regular season. The Steelers haven't won in the postseason since 2017. Cleveland Browns have a more recent playoff win than the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of teams have a playoff win more recently than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you're Mike Tomlin or if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, there's a lot that we have to assess, where do the Pittsburgh Steelers go from here? The thing of it is, Tomlin won a Super Bowl and got to another in his first 4 seasons. In 15 years since then, he won 3 playoff games. He suffered 9 first-round exits and lost 7 straight postseason games. And the last 5 of them were by double-digit scores. He has a postseason winning percentage of .400. And this is the thing. There was no beef, no hard feelings. He wasn't a victim of something. It was just a good run that came to an end. Now, I will say that the Steelers are probably going to do worse over the next few years. Because the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers had a losing season, they drafted Ben Roethlisberger. That was 2004. I also will say the Pittsburgh Steelers have been built on defense. That is what their franchise is. The Steel Curtain, the defensive juggernaut. Well, if I'm Pittsburgh, if I'm the Steelers, if I'm Art Rooney, what I would focus on now is offense. I mean, I would, yes, obviously keep your defensive approach on a lot of things, but I look at it to where they haven't somebody who understands the NFL is about scoring more and scoring fast. Now a couple people that come to mind. Well, the first one comes to mind. Clint Kubiak. He's the offensive coordinator of Seattle, who is the number 1 seed in the NFC. And now, if the Steelers want to go with the we believe in defensive first approach, okay, that is where defensive coordinator from the Rams, Chris Shula, might be a better fit. Chris Shula definitely has that old school style of defense. Great defensive line in his favor. Helps out, of course. And I'm going to say this. He is also the grandson of the late, great Don Shula, who is the winningest head coach all time in NFL history. So, of course, it would be kind of cool having, a chain from somebody from that family lineage. Now, a couple reasons why the Steelers might go with Chris Shula. I mean, it's simple, like defensive-minded approach. They see how the Rams have succeeded defensively. He's just 39 years old. He fit the profile of what the Steelers are looking for, a young coach who could have this job for many years. Keep in mind, since 1969, the Steelers have had just 3 head coaches. Okay, I don't care what team you cheer for or what team you hate. Having 3 coaches since 1969 is beyond impressive and commendable. Other candidates could include Brian Flores, Robert Saleh, Jesse Minter, and Vance Joseph, if you want to go with that defensive way. Now we're going to try this again. Adam, are you there?
All right, any better, brother? Any better?
Hey, okay, we can hear you better now. So, welcome aboard. First of all, welcome back.
Appreciate it.
First thing, I know your house is a madhouse right now, so I know you don't exactly have the greatest setup situation, but I know over time it's gonna be all better, so it's okay. Yeah. Now, I want to get your thoughts, excuse me, before we get into the divisional round talk and the wild card recap-ish. I want your thoughts on Mike Tomlin stepping down, because I'm going to be honest, I did not see that coming the way it happened. Maybe you did. I want to pick your brain at this.
Yeah, actually, I totally did not see it happening. He's been the level of consistency. Granted, he hasn't brought the championship, and it's one of those things. I always resort back to the Nebraska Cornhuskers when they're, you can be a championship quality or always having that 10-win season, but you hire the wrong guy and all of a sudden you're not a perennial playoff team anymore. And Mike Tomlin was exactly that. Now, do I kind of understand it that you had 19 years? I think it was 0-8 his last however many.
Well, I was going to say, he in his last 15 years as Steelers head coach, he only won 3 playoff games, and I don't think people realize that because it's overshadowed by we don't have a losing record in the regular season.
Yeah, but that also becomes a running joke because they would have a winning record and not make the playoffs. So it's like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things where how yes, it does matter, but if you're constantly a 9-10 win team and you barely skate into the playoffs, get bumped out to the first round, I totally get it. I think Mike Tomlin's a great coach. I mean, probably why I'm not the coach or the owner because I would have kept him. So I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like the fact that we lost both Harbaugh and um, Tomlin within a couple of days of each other, unbelievable.
Yeah, I was gonna say we thought Harbaugh leaving or getting fired was the craziest thing, and I think another thing people don't realize, Mike Tomlin has made it clear he doesn't want to coach next year. So for every team that's out there thinking, "Oh, we're going to get Mike Tomlin on the open market," no, you're not. Tomlin does not want to coach. He stepped down, and yes, if a team wanted to hire him, the Steeler, per the CBA and everything, the legality of it is the Steelers would get trade compensation because he wasn't fired. He chose to step down instead, but no one's going to go for him because he's made his stance perfectly clear. Now, I wanted to bring. This is a point that my friend Brendan brought up today to my close friends and I. And I wanted to bring this up on the show because I didn't really give it a whole lot of thought up until he mentioned something about it. But I want your thoughts on this. He had basically said, to paraphrase, because of the plethora of openings, head coach openings, and the lack of qualifiable coaches, this upcoming season is probably going to have one of the worst overall head coaching just rosters, if you will, as far as top to bottom, who's all head coach in the NFL. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, dude, if you think about it, there's no Ben Johnson this year, or that's his name, Ben Johnson, Chicago's uh, head coach.
Chicago's head coach right now is Ben Johnson, yeah.
Yeah. So think of the amount of the allure that he had the last couple of seasons. There's not one OC or really one DC that's kind of stepping out. What you're getting a bunch of Brian Schottenheimers. You know what I mean? Just something not sexy, been in the league for a while, just never really, maybe no one ever really thought out as a head coach. And then you might get regurgitated coaches that got fired this year. Mike McDaniel amongst them that I could see that a team who maybe they want to develop or they want to go an offensive route, they might give his quirky ass a chance. So it's one of those things where I can see this being such a weird fit in terms of like kind of what people may think, what coach may go to where. We'll probably have a couple of coaches that none of us have even heard of.
Well, and now with the stepping down of Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid is the longest tenured head coach, being coach of the Chiefs for 13 years. It was funny. He moved up to number 2 and Harbaugh got fired. And we were like, okay, well, now he's number 2. And now just like that, he's the longest tenured. And I want to currently take a look at the longest tenured head coaches. Obviously, we've already established one of them is Andy Reid. Now, this is where it gets kind of funny. I want you to take a guess. Who do you think number 2 is?
Shit.
It's a tie. There's actually, well, believe it or not, there are 3 coaches that are tied for the second spot. So second, third, fourth.
Rams head coach.
Yep, Sean McVay.
Shit, who else? Oh hell, who else? I'm not sure, brother. I'm not sure who's the other 2.
All right, so Sean McVay, you got that right. And keep in mind, these are all 9 seasons, so they've all coached since 2017 for their respective teams. Next up, Kyle Shanahan for San Francisco, and I guess number 4, whatever you want to say, Sean McDermott of Buffalo.
Really? You know what? Yeah, it seems like he's been long. He's been there for a while.
And then the next 2, these are just the last 2 on this because they have extended seasons. Matt LaFleur, 7 seasons since 2019. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I never thought he'd be the last one standing Zach Taylor of Cincinnati.
Really?
Zach Taylor's been coaching the Bengals since 2019. I did not expect that. Because I didn't expect him to be the last coach in the AFC North after this season.
Sure.
That is really weird for me to think about. But the team, Mike Brown, the president, has put his faith in him. So kudos for that.
I like teams that do that, man. I like teams that they're willing to let their coaches kind of build a program. Maybe is it the right decision for Cincinnati? I don't know, but that their season's so predicated on if Burrow can stay healthy. But I like the fact that some of these owners, and even Mike Tomlin, for example, where they will ride it out because it's all about building a good program.
Well, I look at since Zach Taylor's been hired, it's not been terrible. They started off awful. They started 2-14, then they went 4-11-1. Then 2021 is when they went to the Super Bowl, but lost to the Rams. But still, the fact they went to the Super Bowl. Then 12-4, 9-8, 9-8, and 6-11. Now, like you said, 2 of those years, 2024 and 2021, Joe Burrow won Comeback Player of the Year because he was coming off major injuries the year before. So it's a big thing that Cincinnati, if they just have a consistent quarterback, a healthy quarterback, because obviously Joe Burrow's great when he's healthy, but the problem is he's not healthy.
Every year. And it's not just 1 or 2 games. He's out for half the damn season every time.
He's got a turf toe in week 3. And don't get me wrong, people make it seem like turf toe is not. I think turf toe is one of these things because I've had teammates that dealt with it. And they think it's just, they sound like it sounds like a minor thing. No, it's torn ligaments in your foot. Like, you're out. Joe Burrow was out till December.
Yeah, it's I've had turf toe, brother. I've had surgery on my toes. That's the most worst pain I've ever had was in my toes when I had turf toe.
Yeah, it is definitely not something to take lightly.
It sounds soft. You know what I mean? Like it sounds soft as like someone's like, oh, I got turf toe. You're like, oh, well, just get over it and keep it moving. So like that's usually
that's what I'm saying. It sounds very soft, but it's more brutal than it's definitely a don't judge a book by its cover injury. That's, I think, the perfect way to look at it. Now, I already had said, the Steelers lost to the Texans, which was happy to see. Of course, a little biased, but what the hell? Why not? Is there any other big surprise that happened over Wild Card Weekend for you?
No. Nothing that really pops off. I mean, nothing that really comes to mind where like, oh, I couldn't see that team beating this team.
So first off, I want to say this was one of the most fun wild card weekends in recent memory. I enjoyed every game. I watched them. I enjoyed them. They were so much fun. They were all close except for the Patriots Chargers and then Monday night. And everybody thought Monday nights was going to be close. The only game people thought, oh, this isn't going to go well, is the Chargers-Patriots because Justin Herbert has the worst statistically ranked offensive line in the league. In fact, his center is ranked dead last from PFF, which means, and he's the backup center. No, he's the starting center, which means there are backup centers that are ranked higher than him based on the qualified snaps. Now, that doesn't tell you a lot about what Justin Herbert has to deal with. I don't know what does, man. It's rough.
You know what, though? Justin Herbert's turned into if man. If this, if that, if this. We're talking what year? How many years is he in the league now? 6? 7?
Yeah. We're going on his 7th year, I believe.
I mean, at some point, you are what you are.
It's
Like
on
it's
him
just,
too. I'm not gonna act like the O-line is the only reason this team is not good, because Jim Harbaugh just went from a national championship winning team to come here, and the Chargers. Justin Herbert's just not good in the postseason, man. He's not, and people may say that's like a biased, subjective statement, but here's the thing: you take a look at career stats in the postseason. In 3 games in the playoff in his career, Justin Herbert has a 64.7 passer rating, 674 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in his postseason career. That's 3 games. So, 2 touchdowns over 3 games. And of course, these are important postseason games. Let's not forget the Jaguars game.
that's what I
The big Jaguars game when they were up, I think 28-0, and the Jaguars stormed back and won. I will say, if there was any surprise for me this past weekend, first off, the Bears coming back surprised me, because yes, the Bears are a damn good team, but the fact they came back the way they did was phenomenal. I definitely did not see the defending champions prove to be so lackluster.
That's kind of what they've been. They've been a tell of two halves kind of
This
team.
was a very bad Eagle. I don't know. Say the Madden curse, whatever you want. This was a very disappointing Eagles team that just took the benefit of having a bad division. And they got to the they won the division, they got to the playoffs, and San Francisco to me is so much fun because they lost Nick Bosa, they lost Fred Warner, they lost Brock Purdy for most of the year. Brandon Ayuk never took the field. Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall were injured a lot. George Kittle's done now, and they keep coming back. They kept winning. Man.
Kyle Shanahan, like I'm gonna go back. This is you're gonna hear me say this 1,000 times over any podcast when it comes. It's the program, dude. Kyle Shanahan runs a good program, and you see that with these coaches that have an over amount of time. And he squeezed all the juice out that he can of any player that he has. It's so evident, especially now. Especially like he's done it for so long. He's had a couple of years where he couldn't overcome that injury bug. But the fact that he's doing it this year, and then he had Mac Jones balling for a couple of games there, and the Niners, it's one of those things. They might be a force, but they also may be too injured to kind of get over to that Super Bowl hump with the rest of the NFC.
Really? Okay. Well, that's where we come into the divisional round. Okay. So first off, I have to do this short, sweet, to the point. A couple things. First, welcome to episode 160 of Roundabout Sports, folks. We've reached the halftime portion of this show. I'm Maestro Jeremy Karp. To my right is the one and only Adam Frecks. So I always love doing this segment, and this is going to be the shortest of it because, it's playoff stuff. Just how much do the New York Jets suck? You want to know how much the New York Jets suck? Simple. All right. The New England Patriots lost Tom Brady. No, they went to 5 Super Bowls, lost Tom Brady, had Mac Jones as a quarterback, failed, lost Bill Belichick, got Drake May. Drake May led them now to the divisional round, all before the Jets have returned to the playoffs. That is since 2010.
Is that the last time they went? It's 2010.
The Jets have not been to the playoffs since 2010.
Oh,
And that's when they reached the AFC title game.
that's Rex Ryan.
Yeah. So there's quite a few things that have happened since the Jets missed the playoffs or made the playoffs. I'm sorry. Now, this is the funny thing. I mean, only 5 teams have posted longer playoff slumps in the Super Bowl era. The Saints, who missed the playoffs for 20 straight years, from 67 to 86. Then you had the Bills, the Browns, the Giants, and the Cardinals, all whom had long stretches of missing the playoffs. Yeah. So it's kind of funny. And they entered last season with a 57% chance to make the playoffs. See how that went. So, yes.
Well, I mean, especially the year before that they got Rodgers, they had such a formidable defense. It was one of those things. It was I thought they were going to be really good the year Rodgers got hurt, but
yep.
Yeah,
and then four plays in, he tore his Achilles, and it was all over.
Every superstar that was on that team was Quentin Williams, the Sauce Gardner. Only one they got left is Garrett. And this is just 2 years ago.
Yeah, and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, but Garrett Wilson led the team with 395 receiving yards this year.
That's crazy because I think he's a number one. The fact that
the number one, he missed most of the year, but he led the team with 395 receiving yards. So, folks, that is how bad the New York Jets suck as we head into the divisional round. So, Adam, my friend, we're going to head into the divisional round. Matchups. And I'm excited because the 2 number 1 seeds finally are going to play. So our first matchup, of course, is going to be this Saturday afternoon, where the Buffalo Bills head to Denver, the friendly and cold and stormy confines of the Mile High City, to take on the number 1 seed Broncos. I'm going to just say it. This might be, and I'm really looking at the 4 matchups left, this might be the most underrated matchup, and I think it might be one of the dirtiest, because these are 2 physical teams. Denver's formidable defense against the juggernaut offense that Buffalo has. And I don't know what the weather is supposed to be like, but I do know that neither team is unfamiliar with snow, just in case. I can check right now what the weather is supposed to be. Okay. So it's supposed to be in the low mid 40s, and it'll drop into the 30s during the game. So it's going to be a cold one, but nothing they can't do.
I was about to say that's actually not bad for playoff football. You get a mid 30s game. I don't think that's too cold for either one of these teams.
That said, I got Denver winning because I'll say this: I have been to the Mile High City many times, not just for it's a visiting fan, but for Broncos games. And when I tell you that crowd in Denver, those Bronco fans are unreal. It is a whole different environment. I think they take over I think they make life miserable for the visiting Bills. I think the defense really buckles down. And look, Bo Nix is definitely not – to me, Bo Nix might be the worst quarterback left in the playoffs.
Okay, agreed. I was really worried about what you was about to say next.
Bo Nix, to me, is probably the worst quarterback left in the playoffs. With that said, I don't think he's going to have to do as much. Now, you want to take it the other way, the Bills' defense really takes it to Bo Nix, and Buffalo wins in an upset. It can go either way, but I'm just going to lean towards Denver because what the hell, why not?
I'm taking Buffalo by 10.
Okay.
I think the Bo Nix factor plays a role in this. And on top of that, the Broncos had 12 come from behind victories. So
Yeah.
almost every game they were playing catch up. I think it catches up to them.
Okay. I love to see it. Next, we're going to have that night. We're going to have the other number one seed going on. And look, you and I saw it week 18, the 49ers versus the Seahawks in Seattle. Now, we were just talking about fan environments. Seattle is second to none almost when it comes to crowds. They don't call him the 12th man for nothing. I'm going to be honest. Damn, I'm going to let you have the floor. This is tough because San Francisco has been scrappy all year.
Yeah, they have. The thing is, man, like Darnold's been so good this year, but I still don't believe in a playoff Darnold. I believe in a Darnold that can run a system over a 17-game season to where they're going to be good. And Seattle, best record in the NFL this year, I believe. So it's it's hard to say that they won't be formidable because it's going to be a tough game. But I think, man, without Kittle, this one is a tough one. Man, I'm gonna go the Niners just with the experience. Maybe it's because it's the West Coast team. I've seen Seattle play maybe 4 or 5 times this year. I think Darnold is a great system quarterback. Revived his career in Minnesota last year. But I think, and also, man, Brock Purdy got that it factor about him. I don't think people talk about that enough. He has that clutch gene, that it factor, where he makes shit happen. So for me, I'm going to take the Niners with the upset.
I'm going to take the Niners with the upset because the main reason, it's not even because Seattle's bad. It's not. Seattle is a damn team. They got the coach of the year. I think they got the comeback player of the year in Sam Darnold. And they got, to me, the best defense in the NFC. But what is it to me? It is the fact that the 49ers, every time you knock them down, they get right back up and hit you back harder. And to me, that is – and also, you talk about Brock Purdy, the it factor, the Christian McCaffrey factor here.
We haven't even discussed him. We haven't got him.
Like injuries after injuries after injuries around this team, Christian McCaffrey keeps going. And – the teams cannot seem to stop him. Now, I do think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. But I do think the Niners are going to edge them out, and it's going to be fun seeing them in the NFC title game. Now, we move on to Sunday for the last 2 games. Sunday afternoon, we got why do I want to say an upset? I don't know. What is it about the Texans and Patriots that makes me think this Houston defense really might beat New England in New England? Like, I expected the defense to be good. I did not expect them to. They're the first team to have a pick 6 and a fumble 6, whatever you want to say, in the same playoff game since the 06 Patriots. It was either the 06 Patriots or the 06 Colts, one of the two. But either way, it was the first time since then. And that's saying a lot because there have been a lot of damn good defenses since then. I look at this Texans defense. You got a mixture of just old school tough veterans and a lot of great young guys. I mean, how are you going to have a guy like Danico Autry and then you still got Will Anderson? Like, come on now. And Sheldon Rankins, I mean, let's just come on. So I think I look at and then you got the offense. The offense isn't great. Nico Collins is hurt.
That hurt. That hurts him.
You would think, and they still won. They did just enough. Yeah. I think this Texans offense is going to do just enough. I'm calling it. This is bold as hell. I'm going with the Texans in an upset over New England.
You know, brother, I'm with you. I am with you. The thing is, I need CJ Stroud to be just a little bit better than he was last week because he
I
did
agree.
not play well last week. If he's just a little bit better, man, about the Texans, they probably have the best two pass rushing duo, and you can talk. They probably have the best two corners on the outside too. So their defense, I wish people appreciate it more with how dominant they've been in this era of NFL, that how special this particular defense is, that it doesn't get, it hasn't got talked about enough as like one of the best. I don't want to say best defenses all time because that's just the hyperbole that gets thrown out there. But man, within the past 10 years, they're up there. They are up there, and I don't think people should sleep on how well D'Amico Ryans has that defense playing. I think CJ Stroud's just going to do. He's going to be a little bit better, and I'm going to take the Texans as well in the upset over the Patriots.
I think if CJ Stroud just holds on to the ball and doesn't make like better and don't make the quick rash decisions, they'll be okay on offense. And like you said,
Manage the game.
D'Amico Ryans, it's funny because every coach left in the playoffs is a coach of the year candidate.
Right.
And D'Amico Ryans is no exception, and he's a defensive minded guy, so of course the defense is going to thrive under him. So yeah, I can see it. Now we come to the last matchup of the divisional round. The field of 6 games has gone to the field of 4. And that's where we go to the Los Angeles Rams against the Chicago Bears in Chi-Town. The Rams are going to be the Bears' toughest test yet. Without a shadow of a doubt. This defense is young and hungry. And Matt, you have an offense where there are 2 Hall of Famers, soon to be Hall of Famers, whenever Davante Adams and Matt Stafford retire. And you got one that is trying to make the career path to the Hall of Fame in Puka Nacua. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the defense is great. Jared Verse is just unbelievable. But this Chicago Bears team, man, they do not give up. They have not given up all year. You look at the games that they were down at the very end, whether it was down by 5 with 7 seconds left, or down by 3 with 2 seconds, or down by 2 with 3 seconds left, or something like that. Every time they found a way to win. And here we are again, coming off another amazing comeback victory against the Packers of all teams in your own home field. So I'm going to give you the field first. Who do you got?
I'll say, man, just the one recap on the Packers, and that freaking throw that Caleb threw on 4th and 8, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yes. Him rolling to his left and just, unbelievable. With that being said, Caleb wasn't good enough that whole game that really, I won't say that they shouldn't have won it because he made spectacular plays when it counted, but he can't play that same way and expect to get a victory versus the Rams. Chicago, I think Chicago gets blown out. 15 plus. It's because go back to when they played Detroit, and they have these games. They have these games where if Caleb don't have it at all,
it's bad.
10 plus. Yeah, it's bad. So if that shows up, dude, Stafford has been so great this year. Like, I think he should be the MVP. I know there's a discussion of Drake May, but
I think it should be Stafford, and I think it will be Stafford. And yeah.
So he's been playing lights out this year. Like you said, Puka, baller. They found the goal line threat of Devontae is just ridiculous between him and Stafford. I'm going to go with the Rams big.
I'm not going big with the game score, but I am going with the Rams. I do think will the Bears will put up some fight, but I do think at some point the Rams are going to run away with it. I don't know. I think it's going to be more of a second half juggernaut as opposed to a first half.
I can see that.
I think the first half is going to be very close knit between both teams, but I do think something's going to happen in the second half that the Rams are just going to take off. And I don't see. This is my thing, and this is no disrespect to the Packers wide receivers, but none of them are Puka Nacua.
No.
The Bears corners, I don't think can truly cover a Puka Nacua at prime health, which he's at. Right. Like Matthew Stafford is 37 years old or 38, and he's playing like he's 26. Like
he's a baller.
People can make the conversation all they want about the short touchdown passes, but here's my thing. You have a great young running back in Kyron Williams. Mm-hmm. You have to worry about him if they're not going to throw. It's a double-edged sword. Either they're going to throw it at the one or they're going to run it at the one. Either way, if you're screwed, that should concern you.
I think throwing from the one is tough. I think it's tougher than throwing from the 5 once you go get that all in. So the fact that they've been so successful at it, we watch team after team every week in the NFL struggle to get within the 5, get a touchdown within 5 yards a lot of times. The Rams are just almost money every single time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So if our prediction, if my predictions hold, it would be the Broncos and Texans in the AFC title game and the Niners and Rams. Yours, it would be the Bills and Texans and Niners and Rams.
Yep.
Which I'm going to be honest, those are some damn good matchups too.
Yeah, either way, even if the Broncos win, I really like Sean Payton as the head coach.
I don't think there's a bad. There are such a thing as bad playoff teams. There are a thing as teams that should not be in the playoffs. Every team that is in the playoffs right now deserves to be there, in different ways, shapes, or form. Like they've gotten there because of something. Teams like the Texans got there because of the top defense. The Seahawks because of just being all around dominant. Like the Rams because of their amazing offense. Like every team has gotten there. And yeah, I look at the Broncos definitely to me are at the greatest risk for an upset because
they got the worst quarterback.
Yeah, because of the quarterback situation. And honestly, come on. We want to talk about MVP candidates. I don't think you can have I still think Stafford should win MVP, but I don't think you can at least have the conversation without Josh Allen in there somewhere.
I agree. It's one of those things. He should be getting like second, third, fourth, fifth place votes. He's definitely in the conversation of top 5 MVP candidates.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And that's the thing. I think at least, we take a look at the quarterbacks left, and the more I think about it, the more I do see an upset happening. But I also have to have an outlier because I realized 3 of the 4 games that I picked, the road team wins.
Oh, shit.
I feel like there's got to be one home team winning.
Yeah.
I got to have one home team, and I might as well be Denver. And I really want to see the Texans win. I really do because they are such – coaches like D'Amico Ryans are so fun to watch. Like, because he's not this, stick in the mud coach. He's one of the boys. Like he's the type of guy where yes, you would listen to him and you would do what he says at practice or at the game, and then afterwards though you go get a beer with him. Like that's what I love.
He's not the Signetti type where there's no emotion regardless good or bad.
He's not the Belichick type or anything like that. Where it's just that plain face. No, he is definitely, and that's what I like about a lot of the newer, younger coaches coming up in the NFL. There's a lot more vibrancy and energy with them, and I will say, like, my three perfect examples: Mike McDonald, Ben Johnson, and D'Amico Ryans. Just watch them in the post game stuff in the locker rooms. Like, it is just so much fun. Like, I love it.
I love the fact that Ben Johnson said "fuck the Packers." Let's keep these rivalries real to people. So like it is
I
for
was
the
gonna say, I remember I was at Soldier Field a few years ago with my friends. Went to go see the Bears and Packers, and it was Aaron Rodgers playing there. And Packers won, but it was the game where Aaron Rodgers scored a big touchdown and yelled at the Bears fans, "I own you! I've always owned you!" And we're all and everyone's just like, "Oh, damn, he really went there."
I mean, he wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong, but guess what? The Bears are in the divisional round, and Aaron Rodgers is sitting in his lodge or wherever.
This is true. This is true.
So before we go, what was I? Oh, okay. There is one other thing we need to discuss because it's on Monday. It's this coming Monday. And we can quickly go over it because I know we could also have dedicated it to another time, but I just want the national championship. Indiana versus Miami. I'll be honest, Indiana absolutely put boots to asses on Oregon. It was brutal. Like, Indiana just destroyed them. Miami, I wanted Ole Miss to beat Miami, but man, it was a thrilling battle back and forth regardless.
Great game to watch.
It was that's what I'm saying. It was a great game, and at the end of the day, that's what you want. So I take a look at the we always do the excuse me, hang on. The odds, say what you want, but right now Indiana is a significant favorite over Miami. The money line odds are minus 335, and the point spread is minus 8.5. So yeah, they're favored by about 8.5 points. So yeah, it is. Miami's definitely the underdog in all this, and as reasonably so, because no, you can't count out Carson Beck and the Hurricanes' scrappy defense, but I don't know. Indiana has absolutely killed it all season. They proved when they beat Ohio State that they were the true top dogs, and I think they will do it again this week when they become this year's national champions.
I agree. They're winning by an average of 31 points per game. That was higher than 2019 LSU with Joe Burrow and Chase that won by 26 points per game. What they're doing is it's on. I think it's just weird because it's Indiana. You don't think football when you think Indiana, and that they are just an absolute powerhouse for this particular year, and they have ran through even Ohio State. That game wasn't fun to watch.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is you want to talk about that they are I'm trying to figure out what the margin of victory it was for the 0-1 Miami Hurricanes. Okay. So they scored 42 points a game in 2001. They allowed on average 9.75. So you have a 32.9 margin of victory. So that's just above this year's Indiana team. And people don't understand that the 2001 Hurricanes is arguably the greatest team in college football history.
The deepest team I've ever seen in college. The early 2000s, their worst position was quarterback. Was Ken Dorsey, and he was a great college football quarterback. Like, he was a great college quarterback.
I look at the this was so funny because the players on that team earned a combined 43 trips to the Pro Bowl. 17 players from that team were drafted in the first round. And they're the only team in NFL, or the only college team in history to have, though they were, I'm sorry, they were, oh, yeah, I'm right. Okay. They're the first of 6 teams to have the first, second, and third string running backs all become starters in the NFL. They're the only team to still have the first, second, third, and fourth stringers all become starting running backs when they got to the NFL. Because the running backs for that team were Frank Gore, Clinton Portis, Najee Davenport, Willis McGahee. All of them became starters in the NFL.
Yeah, ballers, dude. Ballers.
Yeah, great running backs at that. So with all that, I just had to get that last little piece out there. But folks, we're going to wrap it up this week on Roundabout Sports. As always, I want to thank Adam so much for being alongside me. As always, Roundabout Sports can be found on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Amazon Music, and any and all other streaming platform. Also, be sure to go to our Twitch channel for Interstate 70 Sports Media. But for that, you just go to JCarp32 Squad. I'm working on that. You can follow us on Facebook, X, and the I-70 Sports Media YouTube channel. As always, we put up the NAMI helpline at the end of the show, and that's 1-800-950-NAMI. 1-800-950 NAMI. The National Alliance of Mental Illness, or National Alliance on Mental Illness, is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans who struggle with mental health issues. Of course, we always end the show by putting up the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and for that, you dial 988. The line is open 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. Understand you're never alone in this world. There's always somebody who loves you, who cares about you, who wants nothing but the best for you. And we all go through trials and tribulations and struggles on a daily basis, but that doesn't mean they have to be faced alone. Your feelings matter, you matter, and you're just a phone call, a text message, an email, an appointment away from what could potentially be that life-saving moment for you. And you could be the listening ears and watchful eyes for somebody else in need as well. I want to thank you all for tuning in to episode 160 of Roundabout Sports, and be sure to tune in next week. And until then, he's Adam Frecks. I'm the Maestro Jeremy Karp. And remember, life is a book full of empty pages just waiting to be written in. Make your lives worth reading. Good night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.